Mauna Loa volcano covers more than half of the island, and therefore eruptions from this large active volcano have the potential to reach far-flung portions of the island. So really it is of concern to the whole island when it does get ready to erupt and when it does erupt. Because it's another active volcano on the Big Island, HVO puts a lot of resources into monitoring this activity. And as we've been discussing for several years now, it's been restless. And so that's why we're trying to focus some public attention now on preparing for what will be an eventual eruption of the volcano.
Now you say what will be. Do you have any idea when this might erupt? You've raised the alert level a couple years ago. You haven't raised it in 2 years that I know of. But when do you think something might occur?
Well, very good question. And unfortunately, we cannot say with certainty. Just to recap, we did raise the alert level from normal to advisory in the fall of 2015 after more than a year of slowly accelerating unrest. And by unrest, what I mean is that we were seeing increased rates of small earthquakes below the volcano and also an increased rate of inflation or deformation of the volcano. Both of those are signs that magma is accumulating in the shallow reservoir system of the volcano, which is how a volcano progresses from quiet to eruption. So that is why we raised the alert level, to bring to people's attention that the volcano was getting ready to erupt. The big question is when. Since that alert level was raised in the fall of 2015, we've seen a fairly steady rate of activity with some pauses and short-term lulls. And in fact, right now we're in a bit of a pause. About a month or so ago, we saw a decrease in the rate of earthquake activity, a slowdown in the rate of deformation. Whether this is the end of this unrest episode and the volcano goes literally back to sleep, or it will return within the next weeks or months, we'll just have to wait and see.
When was the last eruption of Mauna Loa volcano?
Mauna Loa volcano last erupted in 1984 for 3 weeks, and prior to that in 1975 for a very short eruption. So this really current period of unrest leading to the next eruption will only be the third eruption in modern times that we've actually watched the volcano go from quiet to eruption. We have a much better monitoring network in place now than we did in 75 and 84. And what we hope to see is that in the months leading up to that final period, there will be an increase in small earthquakes, perhaps even an increase in larger earthquakes that people feel, and other indicators that we can measure now. And if that happens, there'll be a lot of internal dialogue at HVO about interpreting what we're seeing. We'll be letting the Park Service and Civil Defense know that the volcano may be ramping up a little slowly, but still elevated over its current status, and that we may be moving into a period of a heightened probability of rapid eruption onset. And so we may even change the alert level of the volcano up one more notch at that point. We will alert the public at the same time, and so people hopefully will have more warning than just those few hours leading up to the very final break at the surface.
How do you monitor this volcano and in fact all your volcanoes?
People coming to the community meetings can learn a lot more about how we monitor these volcanoes, but we use standard tools such as seismometers to detect earthquakes and other seismicity. We use GPS and tilt meters to detect deformation changing in shape of the volcano. We have 2 real-time gas sensors on Mauna Loa. We also are using satellite-based monitoring, radar that looks at the snapshot of the overall shape of the volcano and can detect very small changes, and other satellite data that look for hotspots on the volcano. So those are the standard toolkit, and people can come to the community meetings and learn more about that.
Okay, but I have one more question, which is, there's been talk of cutting federal funding for some things like NOAA satellites. To me, that sounds like a concern, and a lot of people don't really realize how much we do rely on satellite data and other agencies to assist. Tell us where we stand with all that.
To my knowledge, I'm not aware that we are at risk anytime soon of losing key satellite resources.